out the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game. 5 seconds left in the game. You believe in miracles? Yes.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vane, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a new river thing. Virginia Tech fire, rapid pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as the valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark.
Hey, excuse me. How is everybody? It's Wednesday. Wednesday.
He's got the scoop faster than a sprint.
Which means we're getting much closer. And again, just to prove it, there's Henry the camel. You see, he's reminding you to keep calm because, you know, it's hump day. What's up, Vic? What's up, T-Bird? Good to see you. Prometheus, what is going on, Bringer Fire? By the way, Prometheus, thanks for the message. I will inquire about my driveway coming up. Thank you. Appreciate that. What's up, Steven? How are you? How's everybody? Please subscribe, like, and share the channel if you're not, each and every day. Apparently, the new emphasis is on liking everything. So let's make sure we do that. A lot going on today. We got Keon Brown at 6:30. I guess we'll talk about the NBA conference finals. Highlanders put out their new roster. We'll get his thoughts about that, what he knows about those guys. Damian Sordelet, David Teal, and yes, Coach Elmo's back in hour 3. So that's a lot, man. That's a lot of show. Then again, you've earned it here from our Family Fencing Studios. Hit us up in the McClellan chat room, as many of you are already, and on the professional door text line 391-0788, because that is constant. All right, there we go. I feel like if I talk over the song, I'm that's not doing you justice. Henry's expression looks like his owner tossed some Panera bread into the feed trough. Let's see. Let's get a good look. Yeah, kind of so, does it? Yeah, he just took like his second bite. Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right. No moon pies as of yet, Vic. That has not happened. I'll look into it, though. What's up, Study Physics? We're in Southwest Virginia here in the southeastern part of the United States. Yes, I'm still going to call it the southeastern part. But I was going to say something, and I completely have lost it. Something I was going to share. A casual observation. But now it's just gone. It is just gone. Just gone. From the likes of Keon Brown, who will bring sports facts and tear the house down, to David Teal, who spews out sports writer jargon slicker than a banana peel, BDST is alive and well. Hey, that's right, MMA. That's my dad's favorite song. He was a West Virginia grad. Country roads take me home to the place I belong. Darius Nichols, who played at West Virginia. What's up, Christopher Lesser? On his ringtone, he has, or used to have, Country Roads Take Me Home. He's awesome. But in any event, hope everybody's doing okay, wherever you might be. So we'll find out from Keon what's going on with the NBA. We'll see if he knows anything about the Radford roster. I don't. It was released. We'll see how it goes. Have not met the kids yet. They won't be here till a little later in the summer. But we're rounding into getting into Memorial Day weekend. I will confess that going into the last weekend, I had no idea this was Memorial Day weekend. And I guess I'm used to it being like on that 30, the 29, 30, or 31 date, right? The last Monday. Well, just so it works out now that the last Monday is what? The 25th? Is that right? Yeah. So it seems early. So I wasn't in any way, shape, or form connecting the dots. People were asking me from, hey, what are you doing for the holiday? What are you talking about? Oh, already? I thought it was, basically, yes, Southwest Virginia. All the high money guys left. They did bring 5 back, 4 of which didn't play. They do have Freddie Erickson back from last year. He was on the all-freshman team, but they don't have a lot of experience from last year's squad coming back. 1 player who saw court time. Well, 2, but one of the kids only played like 5 games. Why do they call it the Midwest but not the Mideast? I guess they call it the Mid-Atlantic. You might be right, Keeper Klein. And that's what the league wants, right? They want Wimbayamba to play in his first finals against the Knicks. That'd be the best case scenario for them. Oh, it's very nice, T-Bird. Yeah, Teal Park. Granddaughter had a softball game. Yeah, the fields are pristine, aren't they? They did a great job. Montgomery County Parks and Rec, you did a great job with Teal Park. I walked there a whole lot. I wasn't there yesterday. I would have seen you, T-Bird. You ever see some dude walking around? That's me. Funny that song mentions in Country Road says Blue Ridge Mountains, yet God, West Virginia is almost total Appalachians. Minor details. Well, this is true. This is true. This is true. Bull Teal, the Teal family in Reiner, by the way. Not David Teal, although he deserves his own park too. So I hope everybody's getting geared up for a good Memorial Day. I hope everybody's able to take a kind of a little sabbatical, little hiatus from the grind. I have not decided whether I'll be doing a show on Monday yet. I'll let you know. I know I'm not going to bother any of the guests on Monday on Memorial Day. So we'll see. I'll let you know by the end of the week. I'll let you know. But right now, I don't really know. I do not really know. We still have the big announcements coming up, which I'm going to hold off until after Memorial Day. Previous says, I'm traveling Monday, Rick, so I need you. Well, here's the thing. I'm going to look into today. I think even if I decide that I'm going to take that morning off, I'm going to see if I can reschedule shows that were popular and run it on Monday. If I'll let you know. I'll let you know. And we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, we could do Big Dog Pop. That's not a bad idea, Vic. See, Vic just pops in and boom. That's not a bad idea. We could do Big Dog Pop on Memorial Day because there won't be any guests to bother. Yeah, Coach Elmo will be. We'll ask him today. He's coming back on today. He just has so much to say. I get such overwhelming reaction when he's on. It's people. I mean, he's just the dude is just so good. I mean, no wonder so many coaches wanted him. He has everything based, because of his experience and how things worked and what. Like I said, if you'd have seen the reverence Coach Foster paid Coach Elmo, man, it was impressive. Oh, by the way, speaking of Bud Foster, talked to him yesterday. We're going to debut him on the program in June. We'll see what that develops into. We both of us would like for it to develop into something. So that's exciting. That's not even one of the announcements. But yeah, we'll have Coach Foster here as a contributor starting in June. I got to go get Creed. Hang on a second. All right. So all that stuff is good. All that stuff is good. So I don't know yet. We're in the TBA mode about Monday, but I'll let you know. I got to share this. This is cool. So yesterday, Jamie Pollard, who you probably don't know, I didn't know his name until yesterday. That's why you may not know. Iowa State's athletic director, on the constant threats from the SEC and the Big Ten to break away from its own league. In other words, to leave the NCAA, right? So Jamie Pollard says, hey, let them break away. We should break away from them. Let them go. But they have to go in all sports and see how fun it is to play baseball, softball, and run track when it's just 20 of you. That's what I think we should do, but I'm only one person that's probably a little more draconian. But that's how I feel about it. Like, let's quit talking about it. Quit threatening. Just go do it, Big Ten and SEC. But if you're going to do it, you don't get to just do it in football and then keep all of your other sports with us for our assistance. Nope. Take them all and then see how fun it is. I love that. Now, I just like the fact that somebody, he's prominent. He's an athletic director. He was asked a question and he did not hold back. And I got a feeling he echoed probably a lot of what the ADs in the ACC and the Big 12 are thinking. Take your ball and go. Just go. And he's right. Try to fill out your schedules going forward if you break away. Now, the other side of it is the money that needs to come into these other programs when SEC teams visit or Big Ten teams visit. So the reality of that happening is probably not, likely. But at the same time, it was kind of refreshing to see somebody go, you know what, we're so sick and tired. The media jumps on support of those two leagues all the time. We're just so sick and tired of it. And he just said, you know what? Just go. Just take your ball and go. The pretentiousness of the SEC and the Big Ten. And I'm trying to think, let's just look at it from a Tech perspective. How often do they host SEC teams? They hosted Purdue out of the Big Ten. For some reason, there's not a Tennessee series or rivalry from time to time. I don't know why neither one of those schools have ever. I guess Tennessee feels like they don't need it. I don't think Tech has ever not wanted to play that game. Makes a lot of sense. Vanderbilt, is that it? This home and home that they had? Was that the last? Y'all can help me out. I guess Vanderbilt was it. They had A&M, the LSU series, but A&M wasn't in the SEC then. But in any event, the only negative I could think of from like the Big 12 and the ACC's perspective, if that were to happen, is what happens to those money games. I know the Big 12, Big 10, they have a lot of games that intertwine. So I don't know if those schools want to give up those games. Was that it? That's it, right, Chris? Okay. That's all I can think of. They played Tennessee down at the track. But it's not like it, in Tech, they don't really have, Rutgers. It doesn't even feel like a Big Ten team. I'm sorry. I know they beat Tech twice, but that doesn't mean. So I don't know how much, but here I don't know how much it would affect things. But I do like, nothing else, I do like the fact somebody's just sick of it. This is a young guy. He's an energetic guy. He's accepting all the new dynamics, if you will, of college athletics. And he's just like, you know what? Go. We'll be okay here in the Big 12. ACC will be okay. I mean, he's just – so I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, so do their fans, Chris. So do their fans. Yeah, Tennessee football. It is it falls into unrealistic expectations fan base. And I have a lot of friends who are Tennessee fans. And they just, no matter what kind of start they get off to, and they just, every year it's their time. It's their time. And it's never their time. When I throw back at them, hey, you're kind of a middle of the pack SEC team. And I said, you're likely if Virginia Tech were in the SEC, you'd be battling Virginia Tech to try to see who would maybe and they get all upset. Well, tell me I'm wrong. Where are the results? Where are the results that tell you that Tennessee's an upper echelon? Let me ask you this. Here's what I wanted to say. And this is a question. Right now, because Kalen DeBoer's Alabama is not Nick Saban's Alabama, is there only one super elite program in the SEC right now? And that's Georgia. What do you think? Alabama is good. They have boatloads of talent. I know they were in the playoff. right? They had a lot of controversy them being in the playoff. They have the pedigree, they have the name, they have the backing of ESPN and Disney. Are they still that program? I know, Steven, Georgia Tech guy. I know. LSU just asked the governor. LSU, I'm going to say perennial title contender, or a team that you probably go ahead and pencil in the SEC title game, Chris. And Georgia right now is that program. They're making a lot of bad news off the field with all. Alabama, I'm not saying Alabama's not overall an elite program. I'm just talking about current, does Alabama still have that same aura? Do you count LSU? What is Lane Kiffin? Now, he hasn't done anything down there yet. Mississippi's going to fall way back. Way, way back. Who am I leaving out? Oklahoma and Texas? Is Oklahoma really somebody that you expect to be a national title contender? Texas has all the money in the world. Have they maximized that under Sark? Yeah, Georgia's the only one. Because there's no way Mississippi's going to stay where they are with who they hired. It's just Lane Kiffin crippled that program. I would like to see them do better than LSU, just the whole Lane Kiffin debacle. But I don't know. Just feels like that league it just has this total perception of itself because the main network that runs college football is their business partner. So they just feel like that gives them this latitude, even though the Big Ten was better in every way, shape, and form last year. But Georgia, year in and year out, Alabama, certainly not Tennessee. Right? We're not talking about levels of ego where you think they are. I'm talking about, well, we're having some glitches here. I don't know what's going on. We may have to reboot the intraweb here. Everybody still good? I'm getting some weird images here on my end. Thank you, Deck. Appreciate that. Kiffin will take Ole Miss to the top. Yeah, y'all let me know. I had some freezing here that made me look weird. I mean, I look weird anyway, but made me look weirder than usual there. We'll see if Keon's able to pop on here. I would hate to have to reboot. Sometimes things just have to work themselves out. All right, thank you. Well, y'all let me know, and then I'll do what I need to do. And if I do have to reboot, it won't last long. So, hey, it's live YouTube. Got a nice, in the last update, where we were up, by the way, another 9.4% in overall views. How about that? Up 9.4%. And we already were doing great. Let's give ourselves a nice. They talked about the difference between what this is in terms of a live constant show as opposed to a lot of the uploads that go up, and people can perfect it and do all these things. So yeah, it's either live or we don't strive for it, baby. Joining us now on the program, he always strives for excellence and he always achieves it. Keon Brown, what's up, brother? Good morning.
Rick Watson, what's going on, brother?
Hey, well, I'm thinking about you because now we're down. Let's see if I have this right. Is it 3 more days? 4 more days? How many
Oh
more?
no, we're at 6.
Oh,
We're at 6. We
that's
got
an eternity.
today, tomorrow, Friday, next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we're there, but what they do, what they've done this year, they're like, you can turn your grades in early. I'm turning my grades in tomorrow. I'm done on. So we have 1 day left. How about that?
So you've made you're cutting training camp short. Is what
There
you're
we go.
doing.
There we
You're
go.
sitting the gas off.
All movies next week. I'm that teacher.
Oh, I like that. So
Yeah.
what's going to be how do you go about choosing the movies now?
Oh, that's easy. We're gonna throw Remember the Titans on there. We're gonna throw some heavyweights in there. You're not gonna like this one, but we're gonna throw some Space Jam 2 in there. That's the first movie we're playing. You gotta watch that one. You have to. You have to watch it. I'm forcing them to watch it.
That's funny. Space Jam 2, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Be specific.
All movies all the time in Mr. Brown's class.
That's it. This is going to be a great week next week. I promise you. It's supposed to bring a lot of rain, but that's fine. When it rains, you watch movies.
That's true. Yeah. Well, we need it. We need it mightily, man.
It's been a scorcher out here, buddy.
Yeah, it's dry. The river's drying up. Down by Deadman, it's crazy.
Yeah. That's how it is.
Absolutely crazy.
My community has a little river.
Yeah.
It's bad. So.
It's bad. It's bad. Well, we want to get into, I guess we're in the conference finals.
Yep.
I guess the NBA really needs it to be New York and San Antonio. Feels like that's what they want. They're both off to decent starts and overtime with overtime wins. What have you seen so far?
Well, Victor Wembanyama is so far and ahead the best player in the NBA. It's not close. It is not. I know Shea won MVP, but what I don't like about the MVP is that there's always an emphasis on offense. They never bring defense in it.
You're right.
You mean to tell me Victor Wembanyama was the first unanimous defensive player of the year in league history, still averaging 20 points, 10-plus rebounds, but you get the third most votes? He took that game personal 2 nights ago when he saw Shea get that award, and he showed everyone why he is the next best thing. LeBron James and Michael Jordan, if this kid keeps it going, which it seems to be, which he's so young, I think he's only 21 years old, whatever the case may be, and you see him keep growing, there's going to be somebody added in that conversation. That kid is something you've never in your life seen before. And that's why San Antonio is going to the finals. That's why I picked those guys before the playoffs to go to the finals, because they have him and nobody else does. He affects the game in so many ways like I've never in my life seen it. It's incredible. And then you flip to the Eastern Conference and the Knicks yesterday. The Knicks are down by 22 with just around 8 minutes to go. Jalen Brunson takes the game over. He attacks James Harden, and they just fall back into the game. And Kenny Atkinson has 4 timeouts, and he doesn't use them. I mean, if you are the Cleveland Cavaliers, you could have gotten the basketball, literally held it, run out the shot clock, and you would have won the game without taking a shot. I mean, what are we doing? That is the type of loss that loses you a series, because now for the rest of the series, you remember you should have had it, you lost it, and now the Knicks got that confidence back again. I think the Knicks win this series in 5, maybe 6 games. I think the San Antonio Spurs beat the Oklahoma City Thunder in 6 games. We're going to have Knicks and the Spurs. That's a really good finals matchup.
Yeah, and that's what the league really wants. They'll never admit that, but they need something to pump them up considerably. So
that's a great matchup.
That would be. I might even watch that matchup.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. The Garden will be rocking. I mean, if it's $50,000 for a courtside ticket now in the Eastern Conference final, what is it going to be for the NBA Finals?
Isn't that insane?
Yeah,
that's just stupid.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Stupid. It's just stupid.
Man.
Did you see Radford rolled out their new roster yesterday? Did you see those graphics? Did you?
Somewhat. I looked at it. And
did you know any of them off the top of your head?
I did not know any of those guys. And I typically start my college basketball prep for the season in July.
I know.
Pretty early, but I'm going to have to start earlier now because of this new wave of college basketball. All these new guys coming in from different schools. It's a different beast now. I don't know many of those guys versus last season when we got all of those names. I knew a couple of those guys. This is a new season, though.
It is. It's a very new season.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm curious to get your take. They won't get here, I guess, until June.
Yeah.
For summer workouts.
Yeah,
maybe,
workout.
Yeah. Sometime in June.
But I'll say this. I mean, the rest of I'm saying this now. It's May, what is the 20th? High Point is going to go undefeated in the league next year. They really are. Because if you compare last season to the upcoming season, and you look at the teams that were at the top, the Winthrops, the Longwoods, the Radfords, they just don't have what they need to compete with High Point this upcoming season. They just don't. Versus last year, where you could get them. Winthrop was very competitive with High Point. Radford was very competitive with High Point, but now they've reloaded again while everyone has taken a step back.
In a month. They finished their roster.
Yeah.
And about a month earlier than everybody else because they have by far the most money.
Yep. And they're filling out that schedule right now. We talked about it a couple months ago, maybe them moving from the Big South. I'm here in Atlantic 10, and when I look at their schedule, they're starting to schedule home and homes with other Atlantic 10 members. St. Louis was one, and there was another one that I can't think of off the top of my head. They've got 2 home and homes versus 2 Atlantic 10 opponents this season. And they also have Washington State coming to High Point this year. So they're reloading. They're ready. They're primed. They're going to have another great year.
Yeah, they're. I know Nito, their president's trying to. He's made offers. He said, "Look, well, what does it take for us to get?" They want to get in the A10 because
every other sport for High Point is in the Atlantic 10 except men's and women's basketball.
Right.
So it'll be easier for them than anyone else that wants to join because of that relationship already. But I think it's coming soon.
Well, they got shot down by SoCon because they don't have football. Yeah. SoCon said we're not interested. Yeah. We got enough schools that fit your blueprint. We're good.
Yeah.
Because I've talked to people from that league. So, but they don't have softball, and that has hurt them a lot.
That's a big one.
He's been looking to leave for about 4 or 5 years, but I don't understand how High Point doesn't have a softball program.
Yeah, me either.
Makes no sense.
Yeah. And what could also be a difficulty for those guys leaving is that they've just recently been winning. We talk about
That's right.
We talk about High Point, and everybody talks about them. They're almost a national name now because of what they just did and how competitive they were versus Arkansas. But they've just started winning. They just won their first 2 league tournaments, their league titles. And when we were playing, they were pretty good. They had John Brown. They only beat us twice in my 4 years there. But at the same time, those guys couldn't get it done come tournament time, although they had a really good team back then. It's just been the last 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. It would be a big gut punch to the Big South. There are a lot of coaches who probably won't mind them being gone.
Oh, they won't. They won't.
But then you have to kind of fix it. You got to you can't just keep losing programs. I mean,
because then you go to 8.
The Big South is strictly a basketball league, and there's got to be some other schools that feel the same way. I wanted that whole MEAC merger, those schools from that. I thought that would have been a really good thing to have those permanent, like North Carolina Central, have A&T come back. They had a chance there to do something, but credit to those schools, right? The HBCU said we did not want to go against the tradition of the black universities. Right. And I have a lot of respect for the fact they did not want to be the schools to lead that conference, to break up. That makes a lot of sense.
It does make sense. And when you think about that, they're still not happy with the Hamptons and the North Carolina AFCs for leaving the MEAC and going to the CAA because of that tradition, right? But the MEAC is always competitive. I love that league. Howard's always good. North Carolina Central and Lavelle Moten is one of the best coaches in basketball.
Great
Norfolk State and Coach Robert Jones. There's some really great coaching in that league, some really competitive players in that league as well on a yearly basis.
How is Robert Jones still at Norfolk State?
I have no idea.
I mean, I'm not dissing them at all. He may like it, but you know what I'm saying. That guy's he's ready for it.
Yes, he's ready. He's ready. Just like Kenny Blankney at Howard, but I think Blankney is more of his decision to stay at Howard.
It is
versus leaving. because when you've won 3 out of the last 4 MEAC championships and you've been a model of consistency and you've been bringing players of the years through that program, I mean, come on now, who wouldn't want you? And with so many openings, I guess you got to stay secure, because now in college basketball, when you get hired by a program, the window's 2 years. Your leash is so much shorter now. So stay where you want it, stay where you're respected, and then your tenure will be longer. I think that's Coach Blakeney's way of thinking.
Yeah, dude, he came on the radio show a couple times, so I'm working on getting him on. I want to get him on during the summer. They just won their first NCAA game. You know, he's got a lot of momentum, and people would enjoy that conversation with Kenny Blake.
Yeah, man.
He's a terrific guy. He really
he's
is.
a welcome
and a hell of a coach.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. That's a good league, and I really appreciate them paying homage to their past and what it means. So.
Yeah.
But the Big South's going to have some issues here soon if they don't figure out how to get somebody to come up and join their league. So we'll see.
Yeah, man.
I hope they have the right leadership in place to handle it, because it could be big. It could be big. So
we'll see, because it's just not looking promising for High Point to stay. It just doesn't. And what's going to bring more pressure on that is I am about 70% sure they'll go undefeated. So that's just going to put more pressure on them.
They do. Yeah.
Like, they're loaded. And it is, especially for the Big South. Not going to say they're as good yet as the team a season ago. Definitely don't think they're better than seen with Coach Huss 2 years ago. But at the same time, for the Big South, they're gonna smooth and cruise through it because of the level of talent that they have versus the other teams in the league.
Is it wrong that it bothers me more that the NCAA tournament's going to 76 than it does that the football playoffs likely going to double? That doesn't really affect me. I don't really look at that as like this detrimental thing, but I really am still pissed about the NCAA basketball tournament.
And the crazy thing about that, we was talking about that over the last 2 years. We knew it was coming. We knew it was inevitable. When it's here, you just still can't wrap your head around it when you have a product that's so perfect that it's all about money grabs. It's all about the advertisers. It's all about the TV deals. It's all about money. That's all it is. So we knew it was coming 2 years ago, yet we still feel this way about it. Don't mess the product up. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And you're trying to fix a problem that isn't there.
It's because it was the golden child. It was the perfect American tournament. It was still the pristine sporting event in this country.
Yeah. Especially that first weekend. There's nothing better than that first weekend of the NCAA tournament. When you kick off or tip off on Thursday and you go through Sunday and there's games all day and everybody's worrying about their bracket and your bracket's busted by the second game of the day. Like, there's nothing better than that. It's just not.
That is the best feeling, I think, now as a sports fan. When you're sitting there, like you said, the first session on Thursday, and you've got the 4 games going, you got them all on your screen, and you're going, all right, I'm winning this one. I gotta need it. Yeah. I got them going to the Sweet 16. Exactly. They better come back.
And they just lost at the buzzer. They just lost at the buzzer, and it just tears you apart. I mean, what are we doing? And the crazy thing is, I can see it expanding again.
Oh, it's going to.
Yeah.
They want 90 is what I've been told. They want 90.
And that's ridiculous.
They want 90.
And that's ridiculous.
And the thing about it, behind the scenes, it's the SEC and the Big Ten pushing for it. And now you see the SEC acting like they're so against this 2014 football playoff.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, what are we doing? Which is it? Yeah, what are we doing? They don't want – they're just trying to cover for ESPN for the moment. Yeah. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
ESPN,
Well, they're in bed with those networks, so that's how it goes.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Whichever league you're in bed, whatever network you're signed to, whether it's the CBS Sports of the world, the ESPNs of the world. That's who you're going to be pursued with. They're going
you're right. If you're the owner or GM, Keon Brown, ladies and gentlemen, the GM of the Washington Wizards.
Uh-oh.
Who are you drafting?
There's only one right answer. Like, there's only one right answer.
The BYU kid?
Absolutely. It's AJ DeBonza. It's him. He's like Tracy McGrady 2.0.
I love Tracy McGrady.
Yeah, that's what he is. That's what he is. He is unbelievable. And if the Wizards are stupid enough, which they're the Washington Wizards, So nothing would surprise me that they would do. And you trade that pick to win. That's what I'm hearing. They're thinking about it. You are going to set your franchise back another 10 years. Because
how often you get the number one pick, right? Yeah.
It is him. He should be in DC right now. Like he should be. It should be the LeBron James situation where they knew you were going to draft him. You're secretly working him out behind the scenes. You're getting your affairs in order, buying a house, getting a car, all that stuff. That is what AJ DeBonsa should be doing about 25 miles north of here right now. I better go to DC tomorrow and see that guy house hunting. That's what I better see for him. Because you add him and you're potentially a playoff team. I think he's a guy that steps right into the NBA and averages 20 points.
You said that. Well, yeah, you said that about
Anthony Davis, Trae Young, and DeBanza are a good enough ball club to get your team from the number one pick to the playoffs, a healthy AD, which we know is very rare. But if you have those three guys with some surrounding pieces around him, Alex Sarr has been a really good player for the Wizards, then you are a team that will be in the playoffs next season. But you can't mess this up. So hold your breath, Wizards fans, until you hear that name called, because when you have a franchise like the Wizards, who have been just awful, arguably the worst franchise in sports, you can make
because they changed their name. That's why.
Yeah. Come on, man. They're giving out Wizards tickets for free in DC. Just walk around, and somebody will find you and say, "Here, I promise you, that's a real thing." Just walk around downtown. One time I was with my wife waiting for her to get out of work. A guy handed me 4 Wizards tickets. Lower level.
And you were like, I don't want. What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Nobody wanted it. Everybody was. It was ridiculous. I've never seen anything like that.
What's up with Washington teams not only changing their name, but picking the worst possible names they can? The Wizards is terrible, and then the Commanders, well, we already know how bad that is. So,
yeah, and
come on.
Yeah. I mean, it's you get the Jaden Daniels thing for the Commanders. He gets hurt all the time. I was talking to some family this weekend. We love that guy to death. Obviously.
I do too. Yeah, he was my guy.
He was your guy before anybody's. And now you just have to hope he can stay healthy, because when the schedule came out a week ago, we have one of the most brutal starts to the season that you can imagine. I mean, it's going to be tough. We got a chance to start 0-4.
Broncos too, yeah. I saw that.
Man. They didn't do us any favors this year with that schedule was as bad as we were a season ago.
Our two teams are the two with the toughest start to the season.
Yeah. You start at Philly week 1, and then week 2 you go to Dallas. Like, come on, man. Come on.
I hope he can stay healthy.
I still because he's a franchise changer.
I know.
He really is.
But he seems like he's got such a good acumen. Like he knows he'll change his game. He'll be better at protecting himself, I think. I hope so.
I think he'll be smarter. Yeah, you have to be. You can't look at the RG3 situations. You got to say, I don't want to be that guy that just put myself in harm's way. But he's smart enough to know that, because he's a guy. He's a pocket passer who can run. So that's the difference between him and RG3.
That's a great point.
He was a solid pocket passer, but he wanted to run first.
He was not a pocket. Yeah, that's right. And he wants to stay there and be like an NFL quarterback. Yeah, that's right.
And with the hype with Jaden Daniels, I mean, man, I remember when it was the Redskins and they had their training camp in Richmond and RG3 had got drafted. It was something like you never saw before. It was like the Beatles were in town.
Yeah.
I mean, you could not get to Broad Street in Richmond because everyone had to see RG3, especially after that first year that he had when we went to the playoffs. And we ended up losing to Seattle. That next training camp, man, you would have thought mini Michael Jackson was there. It was so hard to get into training camp.
Mini Michael Jackson.
Yeah, that's what it was, because we were so bad for so long. We finally thought we had the guy.
Yep.
And he had that great rookie year. And then that training camp came next year. The injury started. And now we get that again. And now our fans are having deja vu, because he always gets hurt or always got hurt. They go and had to shut him down. He dislocated his elbow. He broke his ribs, all of this stuff. And now you just got to pray for a healthy Jaden Daniels next season. Then you put yourself in contention to be in a spot where you could potentially be on the winning track again.
Yeah, 100%, man. And he handled getting injured so well. He never pouted. He never said, woe is me.
Yeah.
He just said, it's part of the game. I'm going to work to get back and be little more, get a little more intel on how I can take care of myself. He'll bounce back.
I hope so. He's tall and skinny, so when you're like that, it's kind of tough to put weight on.
I know.
About 6'4", 6'5", but just real thin. It's crazy.
Wayne said it costs you $100 to give away the Wizards tickets.
It does. It does. I mean, you can go to on a random Tuesday night, and the Wizards are playing Memphis. You can get tickets to the lower level for $6. It's a real thing.
You saying that Grizz Wizards ticket not necessarily a hot commodity?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But now, since they got Anthony Davis, they got Trae Young, you probably can double that to $16.
And then you bring in the BYU kid.
Yeah, and then they'll add another $4. So
$20 seats.
Yeah.
Who's the Wizards coach now?
I'm not even sure. Yeah.
I don't even know. If it's so I hope it's somebody that they can trust, to build around that foundation.
They had Detroit's coach.
Let me look this up.
Let him go.
Yeah. I don't even know who their coach is.
Yeah, the Wizards. It's bad over there right now.
Wizards head coach is Brian Keefe.
There you go.
Who?
There you go. There you go.
Okay. Good luck, Brian Keefe. Good luck.
He'll
never heard of him.
When you got the 3 guys that you got coming in, what's going to happen is he won't be there long. They're going to get a name in there. That's what's going to happen.
Wizards tickets save you on toilet paper.
There you go. Like, it's bad.
So you're standing around waiting on your wife, and then somebody's just saying, "Hey, man, here, please get these off my hands," like it's a bomb or something.
Absolutely. Like, it's incredible. Just walk around DC, you get free sports tickets. That's how it was for the Redskins Commanders a few years ago. Same thing.
Just take them.
Somebody said, "You got season tickets?" I said, "Absolutely." Just walk around the city. Walk around the city every Wednesday when there's an upcoming home game.
I will get season tickets. Yes,
yeah, you'll get free season tickets
very easily. I get season tickets. Yeah. What else is going on, my friend? Before we let you go,
Mom's birthday's tomorrow, so we got to shout out moms.
Hey, is she really, Mama? Hey, happy birthday, Mama!
Yep, we say happy birthday to her.
Great one.
Yeah, man. That's what's going on other than school. Mom's birthday. She just, walked across the stage last week at Virginia Union, so we're all excited about that.
That's great.
Yeah, man. Getting it done as you get older, but that's still no excuse. You still can get it done the older you get. That's what I love about that resilience.
I never see your mom or I don't get a hug and a little
man.
Every time.
She's, for those watching, she's like that down south church lady. That's what I'll compare it to. She's in church more than Jesus. I promise. Called her last night in church. Call her tonight. She's in church.
Hey, there she's in chat. Good morning. Good morning, Jornessa. We miss you.
Doesn't miss a morning.
Man, we love you. You're terrific. You're terrific.
That's it.
You did great with this guy, and now I know where he gets it from.
Yeah. There we go. Now at the same time, we just got to make it past these last 6 days of school.
Well, for you, now wait a minute. I understand. There's a rumor going around that it's only really one more day for you.
There we go. Yeah, you're not wrong. But at the same time, what I don't like about high school, I think I mentioned this, I have to work the graduation next Thursday. So that can be a pain because I have to be at school literally all day that day. And that's the last day of school. So graduation's at 6:30. We get out of school at 1:50. They say get back here by 3:30 because the parking gets ridiculous. You get first dibs on parking, but if you're there at 3:35, that thing gets full. There's families there waiting for a 6:30 graduation at 3:30 so they can get good seats.
Oh, so you're working the night graduate. You're working the whole.
Yeah, all teachers have to. Like, there's no choice. You have to. It's incredible. You have to work homecoming or prom and graduation.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
At least you're not sitting, at least you can just kind of, at that point, you're just like, all right, we're done. After this, we are absolutely done, right? Yeah. That's what you can do the whole time.
And typically what I do is I have my phone and I'm watching one of the playoff games. But this year, I think they caught on. They got me in the first row.
So it's going to be hard for you to be going.
Yeah, they caught me. They got me. I'll find a way, though. Trust me.
Yes, you will. I have no doubt whatsoever. You'll probably come up with some kind of like contact lens, and
something.
you'll be able
I'm
to
good.
watch the game.
I'm about to purchase a privacy screen. That's what's next.
Yeah, I know. I need to see Varsity. Have you seen Varsity Blues?
I have not, but I've heard a lot about it.
All right. So see, he hasn't seen it either. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
I'm expanding to a thing called Big Dog Pop, and we're gonna want you part of that.
No doubt about it.
Because you are a pop culture guru.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I mean,
yeah, man.
So we'll let you know about
what
that.
What do I have to do to get you to go see Michael, man?
I know. Is it still in theaters?
In theaters, absolutely. Still number one. It took over Devil Wears Prada 2. So for the first 3 weeks, it was Michael. Last week, it was the Devil Wears Prada 2 because of, that's just a cult fan base. And then it regained number one, made $30 million.
I'll look. Weekend. You know what? For you, I will. Since we have the extended weekend coming up.
Yeah.
If it's still around this area.
Oh, it's around. Trust me, they're making too much money to put it away. They even put it back in IMAX.
Okay. I'm going to make an effort to go see it this weekend.
Yeah, man.
I will make an effort.
It's not that long of a movie. I mean, you'll be in and out, enjoy yourself for 2 hours.
Right. I'd love to relive all that stuff.
Yeah, man.
And all that.
Yeah.
And like you said, is it his nephew?
Yes, it's his nephew.
Everybody says he absolutely
he destroys it. It's the best biopic I've seen since Ray. And there have been some good biopics.
Could Jamie Foxx have been any better as Ray Charles?
He was Ray Charles.
What was that? You forgot you were watching Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, he was.
I love Ray Charles. Ray Charles is one of my all-time favorite artists.
Oh, that movie. Come on now.
That guy's brilliant, Ray Charles. So, yeah, when I was just like, wow.
It was incredible. It was crazy how good he was.
Wow. It's now showing in Fairlawn. Okay.
Yeah, man.
No, Wayne, I don't want to see The Devil Wears Prada. Not true. Is LeBron leaving LA, Keon? Brandon?
He is. I think he's leaving LA. I think if the Knicks don't win the championship, he goes to New York, he goes to Cleveland, or he stays in LA. So I'm not going to say 100%.
One of the three.
One of the three.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you like moon pies? We've been talking about moon pies a lot recently. I haven't had one ever.
I haven't had one in years, but I'm a fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. People saying you can fry them. So I think if you can fry
I ain't doing all that. In America, everybody's deep frying everything.
You got to deep fry things. That's right.
Deep fry ice cream now, man. What planet do we live in?
Yeah, I know. Exactly. Yeah. Why are we frying ice cream? What are we doing? All right. Well, listen, man. Great stuff as always. Congratulations on reaching the finish line.
Yeah, man. We're there.
You're there. You're there.
This time next week when we talk,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're going to just be.
Yeah.
And happy birthday again, Sharnessa.
Yes, sir. We love you, Mom.
Many more to come. We do love you, Mom. We do. All right, brother. Enjoy your. Is today the final day or tomorrow? Tomorrow?
We'll say tomorrow.
Tomorrow's final day.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you, man. Take care.
All right, brother.
All right, be good. Thank you. Keon Brown joining us on the program. And his mom in chat. What's up, Sharnessa? Keon, he said he hadn't had one in a while. See, I don't feel so bad now. I don't feel so bad right now. Never had one. Never had a moon pie. Yeah, I'm going to try to do that. I have not seen a movie in the theater since, what was it? You know, I stupidly went to go see the Fantastic Four movie. It was terrible. It was bad. I don't know why I trusted Disney. I didn't really. I've just always been a big Fantastic Four fan. It was terrible. Pedro Pascal, terrible. Just terrible. Just terrible. But good stuff from Keon. Damian sort of led here in just a little bit. David Teal. And then we're going to get Coach Elmo back today. Because I know he's not available Monday, so I figure we get him back today. I do. I do, Chris. Well, I'm too busy providing all these endless hours of entertainment for you. That's why I can't get up. You ain't afraid of you ain't no kind of man unless you eat a moon pie and own land. Well, I do own land. I got to get the moon pie part down. Go see it in a good theater like the one in Chris. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make a conscious effort to go see Michael this weekend. I am. Damian Sordelette joining us on the program. I guess before we get started, Damian, are you a big moon pie guy? That seems to be the topic at hand.
I like it every once in a while. I think I ate too many as a kid and kind of like soured on me. So every once in a while.
You didn't want to relive all that, the feeling you had after eating too many moon pies.
Yeah, the session on the toilet afterwards was not very fun.
I've never had one, not an actual moon pie. I mean, I've been getting a lot of grief for it.
Oh, they're definitely worth trying. I loved them as a kid. I just ate too many at a time.
I'm going to try one. I'll try one. Because people are like frying them, so.
Oh, yeah.
Which I don't understand. All right. So where did we leave off last time? Was it last week you guys talked to Whit, or was that the week before?
It was on the 7th, so it'd been about.
Was on the 7th.
Yeah.
Anything new on the front that you're hearing, AD or president-wise, and all these things? Anything at all?
No. What Teals reported, what Franklin told him was, it seems accurate that the president's search is hitting the brakes considerably. I thought it would be, based on what Rokovich said at the Board of Visitors meeting earlier this month, you would expect them to get someone in place for the school year, not try to get someone mid-school year. But
yeah, why do you think it's slowed down? What's the reasoning, you think?
It might be because you have too many cooks in the kitchen right now, because you have Spamberger's appointees to the Board of Visitors who are involved in the search, and they might be trying to pump the brakes just to make sure there's those who aren't going to be there after their terms ended aren't the ones making decisions. But again, Tim Sands was hired in mid-year when he came on board, so it wouldn't be breaking news for Virginia Tech to make a mid-year president hire. And I mean, Sands is technically under contract through the end of June of 27. So he just said he's going to retire or step aside when a new president is hired, and essentially gave them a year plus runway to work with. So I could see that being the case. AD, I expect someone in either by July 1 or before we go to the ACC football kickoff late July. So, that's going to be working. And, with James Franklin, he's going to be invested in it and doing everything he can to vet candidates. I mean, I haven't seen a head coach in any sport be as invested and as detail-oriented as James Franklin. And heck, I think that's what Virginia Tech needed in football. Needs someone like that.
So it's interesting. They're going to get the AD before the president usually, but it sounds like what that means is they're going to hire this new president, and he's just going to let athletics do their thing. He'll probably support, but he's not going to be a prominent factor. If that were the case, they would want the president to be involved in the AD search. At least that's the way I look at it. What do you think?
Well, I agree, but it's also at the same time, Franklin gave David Teal a whole lot of good sound bites down there. And Franklin mentioned, usually university presidents are not wired to be all athletics.
They're not.
But if you can find one who does have a soft spot in his or her heart,
just a little, right,
for athletics, and the understanding the benefit of having sports be successful and draw in a new wave of students. Yeah, that'd be a great move for them. So, but Teal on the TSL podcast brought up Ryan McCarthy as a AD candidate, and that kind of perked my interest.
Who was it?
Ryan McCarthy.
Oh, really?
His term on the Board of Visitors is ending. Ryan McCarthy was the one that Rokovich said, "Hey, go find us the money to invest in athletics," and he was part of the small group of the search committee that was branched off to focus on Franklin. So if you want someone who is aligned with football, in line with athletics, for that matter, Ryan McCarthy would be a good bet for AD. He has been on the board of visitors, so he understands the workings of the university. He understands, the priorities. Yeah.
Well, that kind of makes sense given what James Franklin has said and what they're looking for, the alignment. That kind of makes sense. You bring somebody internal in, you don't have to retrain them in the whole, this is who we have. You already know, you were part of it. You know what has been said in the direction. So maybe it's all going to be tied in with football anyway. So
yeah. And Teal, I was texting with Teal. I'm like, that makes so much sense. And he goes, yeah, a podcast is where you can spitball ideas like that. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any like rock solid intel with that, but it's, throwing that name out there into the ether is a really good name.
Teal's a really good read between the lines guy, he kind of.
Teal also, if he's going to make any sort of, if he's going to throw out a name for an AD search, he would know better because he has the connections.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see how all that works out. It's got to be a guy that James Franklin's going to approve of. I mean, Coach Foster basically told us that at the Blacksburg Sports Club. I mean, he's going to have a massive, massive final approval of this hire. It's just say the way it is. So.
Also, Teal brought up a good point. Ryan McCarthy is not on the search committee for the athletic director.
So, yeah, definitely read between the lines. Yeah. Right? Yeah, you can't be on the search committee and go, me?
Yeah.
What do you think? Me?
Yeah.
All right, so everybody's doing cartwheels over the verbal commitments here recently. The quarterback last week, another running back coming. I think that's the third one. I think, what do you have? 3 out of last year's class. I don't know where they're going to put them all, but they got another 4-star yesterday, apparently.
Yeah, they had one running back in last year's class, Messiah Mickens.
Is that the only one? Okay.
Yep. He was the flip from Penn State. So I think when all said and done, Virginia Tech's going to have a top 10 recruiting class because James Franklin is staying true to his word of remaining committed to focus on high school recruiting. And I think the kids understand that. And when you make an emphasis on saying we're not going to just bring in one-year mercenaries every year just to fill out roster spots, we're going to develop you. That's going to be a selling point for kids. That's why you see Peter Burke come on board. I mean, heck, Drew Aller's an NFL quarterback because he developed during his time at Penn State.
You think? I saw where the Steelers said they need to untrain him for everything he learned at Penn State.
Yeah.
I think he's a very gifted kid that,
I think they might have ran him a little too much, but I mean, heck, when they went to the national semifinals, he was looking really good. And he's got a lot of weapons. He's got more weapons around him in Pittsburgh than he had at Penn State. And, I think Chris brought this up in the chat. There's a whole lot more weapons here at Virginia Tech when you look at the skill positions. And, running back is a skill position. And you look at the injuries that Virginia Tech had at running back this spring when they had to move Darius Taylor in from linebacker. They had to bring in some walk-ons to fill in the running back roles. This isn't going Justin Fuente level of we're going to stockpile running backs and have a uneven number in the scholarship number in your scholarship book. This is a position that was deficient, and injuries show that. So you need to get good players at that position. And Javian Jones-Priest is that. I mean, he's qualified for the Texas 6A regionals in the 100 and 200 meter sprints. He's fat. He's a burner. And you could see like Stanley Smart and Kelvin Morrison might be more inside runners, power game. Jones Priest can take the top off, and that's what you want in terms of rounding out a running back class. You get a collection of skills from those guys. Now Jones Priest is built like those other guys, so I'm pleased with how Norville McKenzie has done with recruiting. He is doing exactly what Elijah Brooks had done in recruiting, except he's bringing in higher level guys, and he's proven he can develop what he did at Georgia Tech. And if he can develop these guys at Virginia Tech, I mean, that's going to fit the Ty Howell offense perfectly, because what we saw at Penn State with Ethan Grunkemeyer was a lot of play action, because you had Allen and Singleton who were able to, run the ball effectively well, and play action, hit the guys. And if Virginia Tech can do that this year, that offense is going to take off, especially with, Green and Brown on the outside. They're going to get open if play action is working.
Well, and I said this with the Bork commitment too. I think the thing that should excite Tech fans even more is like, this shows you Tech now has the money to go out and get these kids to come. I mean, that's what they're coming for. That we can talk about the great job coaches are recruiting, but every kid's taking the highest offer for the most part. And it's good that Tech is in that environment. That's what I'm saying. It's not a negative thing, but they weren't there before, right? They weren't there before. And they didn't have a guy like James Franklin who can reach kids and talk to kids, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I just think that that's a very encouraging thing that you see that coming in. That's what these other programs have been able to do. Right, the SEC and the Big Ten, they have had money to go out and have a top 5 recruiting class every year, right? And here's now Tech's edging up toward the top 10 because of the same thing. They've got a guy who knows how to talk to these kids and convince them to come. But then, oh, by the way, here's our deal, and it's good news if you're a Tech fan. So
yeah, I think it's less the money and more the relationships that.
Come on, man. Well, it's all about the money, brother. Trust me. I'm around it down there. I mean, we're at a lesser level, but it's Radford, I know, but no kids coming there unless they're getting a certain amount of money.
When you're beating out Oregon, the likes of Oregon and SMU, for Jones Priest, they're throwing around some money, those two schools. And so Virginia Tech might say, well, we're going to be in the ballpark, but hey, here's the relationship aspect of it.
Yeah, he has to close it. You're right. He has to close it 100%. You have to close it. But the kid's not going to keep talking to you if the money's not comparable.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's business. That's what this is. This is a professional business now. This isn't the old model of knowing the family for years and getting them to come. That's not what it is.
Plus, if you look at it from this perspective, Franklin did say we have to do well in the recruiting footprint, but we have to get the kids nationally who can come and be program changers. Bork from Massachusetts, Priest Jones from Arlington, Texas are outside the recruiting footprint, but they can make a difference for this program. So Franklin's living up to his word. He's getting guys who can make a difference. If they're outside the footprint and they fit what Virginia Tech's looking for, and they come in and buy into the culture, that's a win.
Well, and you don't mind a guy or two like that, like you're saying, not like this horrible, let's go like Justin Fuente's idea. Let's just make a Texas pipeline to Blacksburg, which didn't work. That never took. So, well, he's building depth. I don't know what it'll look like. Let me ask you this. In 3 years, who's the starting quarterback in Blacksburg? If the Bork kid ends up being, as these, recruiting places have hyped him to be. Now, Coach Elmo wasn't really as high on him as some of these services are. So what he's going to be the quarterback in 3 years? Let's say, what would that make it? 28? Yeah. After 3 more seasons, as we go into 2028, who's the quarterback in Blacksburg?
Well, if we do 3 seasons,
29. 29. 29.
I could say you could have a nice battle between Troy Hoon and Peter Bork.
You think they're both going to be there in 3 years? I don't.
I think one of the two will be there.
One of the two will be there. One of the two.
Because at that time, I mean, if Bryce Baker stays, he could be the starter. I would say he would be the starter as long as he stays, because that would be his redshirt senior year. And Baker's really good, but I think Hune and Bork, if they stick around, could fit that offense very well. But again, that's a big if. We can't talk about like you've mentioned many times. We can't look ahead 3 years because it's a different day.
Maybe we'll have rules in place by then too. Maybe no hope, but maybe they actually do something that make kids honor their commitment better. I don't know.
Yeah.
Honor the contracts they're signing. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great for fans too, that know that they have some kind of retainment possibility instead of just this guessing every year, the turnover? It's just,
you would have to get people to agree on something, and right now we can't get anyone to agree on anything.
I know.
Conferences could say, "Oh, we're going to do this," but for every conference, like one size does not fit all for everything. So who knows? I mean,
yeah,
the holdup we have right now in Congress, I would have said that would have happened the same 4 years ago if there was a different president in charge, because you'd have had the other side of the aisle saying, "Oh, we can let this president have a win before the midterms." It's the same thing there, but I think you could have a better bill out there that helps the other sports, because I think one of the key things I heard about the SCORE Act was the Olympic sports, the non-revenue sports would still get hurt in a way. You got to find a way.
That got tabled yesterday. Did they table that yesterday? They did, didn't they? They did.
Yeah, because the Congressional Black Caucus chose to pull its support from it. So, that would be dead on arrival if you did that. So, you just have to go back to the drawing board. I know there's 2 senators right now working on something, trying to do bipartisan, but again, politics are going to play into this, and it's going to be tough to try to get something passed. So I have no clue when this is going to change, if it will ever change. I know Iowa State's AD had some very choice words.
I know. I talked about that. That was pretty cool.
I like an AD who will speak his mind, and
he did not pull any punches, man. I thought it was refreshing to see. I liked it.
Oh yeah, and the Big Ten and the SEC, if they decide to pull away, you're going to see other schools that are like, "Hey, take us with you."
Well, yeah, that's what. Yeah, there's going to be more realignment before that happens. Correct. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Bring us with you. You're going to need us at that point.
Yeah.
Because then you're on your own. That's kind of what the AD said at Iowa State. I like that. Take off. Good luck filling out the schedules for all your other sports, playing each other over. Go ahead. Enjoy that.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. It probably won't happen, but it was pretty good.
No, it was definitely something that needed to be said, and something that maybe will make some of these ADs and university presidents and conference commissioners start pumping the brakes on a lot of things.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Maybe we should think about the repercussions of the decisions we're making instead of it always just being about money. Maybe just once. Can we do that just once?
Yeah.
Somebody was asking you about the basketball commitments so far that have come in for Mike Young.
Well, he's filling out his roster with the proven players at the Division I level. It doesn't matter if you're mid-major or
at this point, no.
High major. You need bodies, and I think he's done a good job of piecing together a roster. I like the pieces that he's brought in. I think some of his comments to David Teal about about finding guys that could fit his system and can play well defensively, that's good. And in this day and age, you need players who can be versatile in what they can do. And I think the Stetson kid's a good wing player who even the A-Sun's not that. It's one of those mid-majors where it's a one big league. There's still good talent there.
It's a good league, yeah.
So I think they've done a good job I think Mike Young's done a good job of piecing together the roster around Hammond, Johnson, Hansberry. And I thought more so than filling out the roster, his comments about the state of the team at the end of this past season were particularly revealing. That there wasn't a team vote about not playing in the IT. It was Mike Young looked at the status of the roster. Guys were ready to move on, whether it's Toby to the NBA draft combine where he shined, Neo going to the transfer portal, Hansberry with his injury, Johnson with not being fully back. Yeah, you don't want to burn red shirts either, because basketball, for whatever reason, is not in the same position as football when it comes to, you should let kids play without burning the red shirt. It's still like the old college football rule where you play one game and your shirt's burned unless you get a medical red shirt. Which
why?
I know if college football can get that rule right, yeah.
Well, it's very, very interesting to see how these rosters are pieced together, and you just don't know. Like you said, you just don't know. I mean, Radford, you got 5 guys back, 4 of them didn't play. And then you got a whole bunch of new guys coming in. It's going to be that way every year. And everybody's High Point. High Point spent $7.2 million to knock out their roster in 3 weeks. It blows my mind. But again, a private school. But nobody else is like that in our league. And in the ACC, I guess the Blue Bloods get it done. But everybody else has to just kind of,
Well, it goes back to High Point wants to be in the A-10.
Yeah, badly. Yeah, he's trying to get in there very, very badly. Yeah. Because SoCon rejected him, so he's got one shot left, and it's the A-10.
Yeah, Chris, David Cunningham brought this up. It's in college basketball, if you don't get a medical red shirt, if you play, he mentioned this, if you play in like one game, your red shirt's burned.
Yep.
And for a medical red shirt, you can play in, I think, up to 30% of
your games. 30% if you're red shirt. Yeah.
If you get a medical red shirt, you can in a 32-game season, if you play 10 games, you get hurt in the 10th, you can apply for a medical red shirt. But if you're not hurt, that's why Mike Young was sitting those guys at the end of the year. He didn't want to burn the red shirts, especially for those walk-ons.
It's a dumb rule. Dumb rule.
It is a dumb rule because you could because if you change it to where you can play in, so for college football, you can play up to 33% of your games. If you change that rule, if you make that the case and you say 30% for all red shirts, medical or whatnot, you can get these kids playing time, especially when you're playing the NEAC and the SWAC schools in your non-conference. Get them some reps, because look what happened. You had to throw Sincere Jones in down the stretch against UVA when he hadn't played much at all.
It creates a bind for coaches. I've seen it over the years at Radford. Mike Jones would want to. I can't play him.
Yep.
If I play him, we have the injuries, and he would help. But if I play him, he's already missed 17 games. Then what was the point of sitting him? It's a big dilemma, man. That's one thing I don't understand why they haven't corrected.
And the postseason games, like with college, with football, it's the regular season games. If you get to like the conference championship game or bowl game or the playoffs, those don't count. So those kids can play.
Yeah.
Whereas, you get to the postseason, I guarantee you, Mike Young would have loved to have played more guys in that ACC tournament game against Wake Forest than he did with the injuries. But he couldn't because the rule for red shirt in basketball carries over into the postseason.
Yep.
There's no exceptions. It's archaic. It needs to be changed because in college football, they said injuries are a big deal. We need to have players available. We need to let them play. So if there's an injury, we can play them, not be at a disadvantage, and we're not burning the red shirt. It's got to be the same way in basketball. They have to find a way to change that.
No, they just well, it's like apparently the football coaches have a lot of power, right? The AFCA signed off on the 2014 playoff, right? Immediately. What did we heard? We heard from Dan Hurley. Well, it'd been nice if they would have talked to us about expanding the tournament. We feel like it's a privilege, not a right.
Yep.
But he goes, none of us were ever he's talking about all the coaches were not even approached. Yep. This was just done, and you're going to have to live it, So I thought that was interesting, the difference between the two sports and how they try to move things through. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand that. I don't understand that. But anyway. So what are you working on this week, my friend? What you got going on?
I'm doing what Wayne suggested. Start taking some time off.
You've earned it.
No, I'm just catching up on a few things work-wise, and then I'll help out with the spring jubilee for the VHSL stuff when that comes around here mid-June, and then get off the grid for a bit till mid-July when we get to head down to Charlotte for 3 days of everyone lying about their upcoming season.
No, that doesn't happen. Well, enjoy. We'll keep scheduling you here for the summer until you tell me you're not available. I know you're going to be traveling, son. Just let me know, man. And you're great as always, man. People,
you got it.
I always get so much appreciation from chat that you actually look to interact with. They really appreciate it, man. So,
I mean, it's the whole point of this show is to interact with the people.
It's great. No, you do a great job.
I love it.
You do a great job with it. And you're damn good at what you do. So thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. Well, enjoy. Hopefully you get some time and enjoy hanging around the high school stuff. At least maybe that's a departure from this madness that is college sports for a little while.
But then I read articles about kids in like Richmond getting NIL deals and but the NIL deals in high school seem to be, structured much better and in a better spot than they are for colleges. So just new world.
All right, my friend. Enjoy. Right. Take care of yourself.
All right, guys. Have a great one.
You too, brother. There you go. Damon Sordelet. Good stuff as always from DS. He's the Virginia Tech football beat writer. Yeah, Wayne, and that's the dilemma right there. You protect the red shirt, and then they may be talking to other schools. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't play here anyway. I mean, I practiced and I kind of developed on the practice court. Yeah, I think you've got enough of my tape, right? I can send you some practice highlights. I think I'll go to your school now. You protected that spot. You didn't go out and try to find somebody else. It's happening all over, especially in our league, mid-majors, all the time. Matter of fact, it was Monday. I talked to a coach in our league I have a ton of respect for. He's really good at what he does. Just tell me about the landscape of this thing. When you get an updated reality check on the landscape of it, you just, even though you know about it, and hell, I live in it, basically, not at a tech level. I'm not claiming that, but I do live in it. When you hear some of the things that are happening, and it's happening without any consequence. Nobody's putting any pressure to change anything. Coach said I guess we're mirroring society now full throttle. It's the have and the have not strictly because of material means. I think that's the way he worded it. I was like, it's no longer about education. It's no longer about trying to pretend like you're going to come here and get your major done and have a different type of life after that. Nope. This is about buying and selling. This is about continuing to add to your pot And nobody really feels like it's going to stop anytime soon. I'll tell you that the biggest takeaway was because I asked him the question. He goes, Rick, there's no sign that there's anyone ready to do anything to harness this. I hear that from Big Ten guy too. Big Ten guy works at a extremely prominent institution that has lots of money. And I always told him I wouldn't reveal the name of the school he worked at on the air, but you can probably do the math. And he just says the same thing. In our league, he says the Big Ten, nobody in our league, nobody, our commissioner, we don't talk about it. What he meant was they're not talking about reeling it in. They're just boasting about the revenue they were able to, I'm talking about from the conference perspective, that they were able to distribute, and they feel like it could double next year. And I guess all of us here, we grew up in a different era, most of us. And we're not stuck in the mud. This isn't being curmudgeons, right? And we're not, I don't feel like you and Chad or text line or people we're not just denying what's going on. We understand, and we got an open mind. As Darius Nichols says, Rick, you evolve or you die. In this business, you evolve or die. He said, Rick, you know what I've done since I got to LaSalle? Talked to Darius on Monday, too. Man, I love talking to these coaches. And Darius is one of my favorite people. He goes, I've become more I've spent probably as much time being a fundraiser than I have being a coach of this program. He goes, and it sucks, but I know I have to do it. It's like, yeah. Very true. Yeah, Petiti is a businessman where he came from. That's a great observation, Chris. He's built for this. That's 100% correct. What's up, Parker? Yeah, that's exactly right. And I don't think Jim Phillips has an iota of a clue on what to do. We're going to have our big bash at the NRB Super Bowl, we think, in late June. 540-382-5525 if you're in the area. Go check them out. Reserve your bowling lanes today. Ask for Terry. Sundown Electric's down in Elliston, one of the best reputations of any business in our region. They've branched out now. They're now a regional business. Their father started the business, and the Smith brothers have taken it to a different level. We appreciate their support. Brandon at Top Shelf Apparel, $20 if you want a BDST shirt. I can ship them to you for $30. ReadySetFund.com. ReadySetFund.com helps organizations, school groups, teams in high schools, middle schools raise money through a series of text messages. Email Bob Chris, CRST11 at Gmail to find out more. I know a few people have told me they were going to. I hope you followed through on it. Lawson's Mobile Home Supplies, been the place to go for manufacturing home parts since 1997. 300 North Franklin Street in Christiansburg. Give James a call, 540-381-8011. Great dude. Professional Door Incorporated, they are a sponsor of our text line. Speaking of taking what your dad started and taking it to a regional and national level, Travis Williams has done a magnificent job. He and his staff, great people. Commercial and garage doors right across from the New River Community College. Another great place to tell you about that I fully endorse is my bank, National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of BDST on YouTube. Lara Ramsey has taken over the presidency, and she has been outstanding. They had Brad DiNardo for years. Brad's a terrific guy, and now they couldn't have picked a better person than Lara. They made my refinancing very easy. Our BDST fan question of the week from the attorney Ryan Pry. Right now, it's a two-horse race. Wayne got us started yesterday. Wayne, thank you. Your question has been big. We asked if you're at a ballpark, we're not counting tailgate, but if you're inside the ballpark and you're in your seat, what food is it that you have to have or you really have a desire to have before you leave the game? It's been funny. There's actually three answers that have dominated. Hot dogs, nachos, and beer. Do we count beer as a food? We'll update you on Friday. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. That's Charles Lee and Company. Get your air units ready. Get them up to snuff, man. Mine, since I got the new ones, when he came and fixed my lightning disaster, my thing blows out the cold air. I can leave it like on 73, and the house feels colder then than it did on my old unit when I had it down in the 60s. We're presented each and every day by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. You've seen them here. You've seen Jonathan Sweet, heard them, Tim Miller. Tell me those guys aren't motivational. We appreciate their support. McClellan Chiropractic, Mark Hunley, 155 Walters Drive. Wanted to be a chiropractic to help people with their ailments, and nobody does it better than Mark. And he has all the latest technology in that big building. Go see him. Tell him we sent you there, and you're going to feel a lot better. And Family Fencing, sponsor of our studios. Thank you so much to Jason Green, 540-200-8294. They're out getting quotes, putting fence up all the time, man. It's going nuts out there, which is great. Get caught up here on our McClellan Chiropractic chat room. Exactly, Chris. Yeah, we talked about that. Miami got to keep all the revenue. Great job, Jim. Running programs like Being a Politician, fundraising, shaking hands, and kissing babies, and telling lies. Now, it's the way Bud Foster described his position. Not the telling lies part, but shaking hands and kissing babies. Big Dog Moon Pie is coming in 2027. Would I add a piece of bacon or some meat product? No. Wayne says, depends on the sport, too. Baseball is hot dogs, probably more than football. Yeah, it is. You're right. If you're at a baseball game, whenever I've gone to a big league park, all the years I went out to Petco and before that, Qualcomm, see the Padres, it was always get a couple hot dogs, man. And for me, it was always hot dogs and beer. I've always loved that it's the staple. But it's a lot closer than you think right now with nachos. Yeah, I'm the same way, Chris. So when I'm watching a Broncos game, the phone goes off. Like the other night, Game 7 of my hockey game. The Sabres lost in overtime. Had a goal taken away in overtime, but it was the right call. The whistle had blown. Just terrible break. Phone goes off, and you just locked in. Just you tell, look, I'm going to be alone now. I'm going to be alone. Leave me alone. Can't eat. Chris says, I'll eat before and drink and smoke a cigar before the game, but nothing during. That's cool. That's cool. I get it, man. Chris, I get it completely, man. I'm the same way. Whether it's tech, I'm sure for you, or whomever it might be. Yeah, whatever team you're rooting for, man. I know Wayne feels that way when he's watching his Browns, but that's probably because the way they play make him sick to his stomach. Sorry. David Teal coming up and Coach Elmo. I can't believe you said that. Is beer real food? Beer, that's the three main food groups, barley, hop. Well, exactly. And I think that's why I said it. Like, now that you think about it, it probably deserves to be considered. FSU and Clemson outsmarted themselves during their threat to leave. Yeah, FSU in particular, right? They really thought they were something. Chris is busy yelling, texting, and cheering. The special at the 220 drive-in used to be a foot-long hot dog and a cherry Coke. Wow, yeah, foot-long hot dog with chili. Goop a bunch of chili on that thing. Woo! You know, I haven't had a foot-long hot dog in a long time. And I know basically when you eat two, it's the same, but there's something about that longer, big hot dog in that bun, isn't it? Normally I can turn the Browns off after the first half, though. Had a good draft, though, my friend. Need a quarterback, but you had a good draft. You did. Although I think my Broncos wanted the Concepcion kid, and you stole him. Well, I've liked him ever since he was at NC State. Duke's Drive-In. Yeah, Hank's Drive-In still down in Radford under new ownership. Still doing it. It pleases me so much. Whenever I drive that way into Fairlawn and I see Hank's is packed, I'm like, it's just so cool. So cool. Love that. Yeah, you don't go out. Hell, are they even in the grocery store? Let's see, I need a snack for the weekend. Oh, there's a box of Cracker Jacks. Did that a lot too, man. And let's be honest. Let's don't try to pretend. You get excited for the toy inside, the package, whatever it might be. Usually it was a tattoo that you could apply while you were still eating the Cracker Jacks, right? Whatever the tattoo looked like, you would still apply it. Yeah, hot dog and cracker. That's why it's the song. It's in the song. Take me out to the ball game. Come on. It's science. Coming up, Phil Elmassian here, the coach, in about 20 minutes. Joining us now. It's been too long. The Hall of Famer, David Teal. What's up, David? How are you, man? Good morning.
Good morning, Rick.
You have been busy, my friend. My goodness, as always. Well, how was it down at the ACC? I know you had a really insightful conversation, didn't you, with James Franklin? We got a lot of good stuff, man, we found out. So
interesting conversations with a lot of folks, Rick. James Franklin, Mike Young, Tony Elliott, Ryan Odom, Jim Phillips, Rhett Lashley from SMU, Dan Radakovich, the outgoing athletic director at Miami. A lot of things going on in college athletics, that's for sure. No shortage of topics, no shortage of controversy. That's just the way of the world.
Well, it was interesting in the James Franklin bits. I mean, a lot of things weren't really groundbreaking. We kind of know where he stands on what they want it to look like, what he wants it to look like, needs it to look like for Virginia Tech. But what kind of vibe did you get toward what might, I guess now we know the way the hierarchy is going to go. It appears like they're pumping the brakes a little bit on the presidential search, and the AD is going to come before the president there.
Yeah, Coach Franklin mentioned that he thinks that the presidential search will be months behind the athletic director search. And if you look at these types of transitions nationally, Rick, that's not unusual. Sometimes they take upwards of a year. Virginia's move to replace Jim Ryan with Doug Beardsley was much quicker. That was just a few months, but that was very unusual in its brevity. So I think Virginia Tech will be on more of a traditional track when it comes to finding Tim Sands' successor.
And there's no question that James Franklin's going to be an integral part of the AD. Who that person's going to be, isn't it? I mean, he's left no.
I think it borders on veto power.
Yeah.
You don't hire James Franklin as your head football coach and essentially give him the keys to the castle and then hire an athletic director that he is opposed to. That makes no sense.
Right. That's kind of, you're right. It is. It feels like he's got the ultimate veto power now. You're right. Yeah, I agree with that. And Damien was talking about, you brought up a name that made a lot of sense that people hadn't talked about in that search, right? I thought made a lot of sense.
Oh, are you talking about Ryan McCarthy?
Yeah, when he broke it down.
I mentioned it on the Tech Sideline podcast that we do. And we're all throwing darts here. And Ryan McCarthy was on the search committee that plucked James Franklin, essentially from the transfer portal. he is not, to my understanding. Now, Virginia Tech has not released the membership of the AD search committee, but my understanding is Ryan McCarthy is not on the committee, which kind of raised my antenna a little bit. And Ryan McCarthy has no background in athletics administration, but a lot of athletic directors these days don't when they're first hired. He obviously does have a long track record as Secretary of the Army, just a decorated military career, service on the Virginia Tech Board of Visitors, integrally involved in athletics from the BOV standpoint, savvy businessman. Is that someone who might want to dabble in this? I think James Franklin is very comfortable with Danny White in the associate role, maybe to the point where Danny's a candidate for the full-time job, because Danny has earned James's respect as the overseer of football. So there's a lot of balls in the air at Virginia Tech right now. And James Franklin, the interview I had with him was in tandem with ESPN's Andrea Adelson. It was just the two of us talking to Coach. And he said they don't want to limit their scope. They want to look at traditional candidates. They want to look at internal, external, non-traditional candidates. And that seems to be the wise play here. Why limit yourself? Explore all your options and move from there. My understanding is the committee met for the first time 9 days ago. It was a week ago Monday when they met for the first time to vet search firms, not candidates, search firms. I believe they've settled on a firm, the same firm, Parker Executive Search down in Atlanta, that is leading the search for the new Hockey Club executive director.
Okay.
Which makes sense. These are parallel searches. Why wouldn't you have the same firm leading both?
It makes perfect sense. Yeah. Well, so things are going to progress there. And it sounds like they've got things aligned to get, somebody in there that everybody's going to agree is the right choice. So that's good, right? That the change in that department has been kind of overwhelming, isn't it? That's kind of refreshing to hear that they're actually, because that hasn't been the case in a lot of areas going the last couple of years. So,
well, and what James Franklin uses the buzzword alignment often. And he did so when he accepted the job, because he sensed that with the board's approval of Whit Babcock's plea for additional funding, and Tim Sands was on board with it. And another point that Franklin made to Andrea and me was that this is nothing new to him, this presidential / AD regime change. When he took over at Penn State in the wake of the Sandusky scandal, Penn State had an interim AD and an interim president that then quickly turned over and then turned over again. He worked for 3 different presidents and 3 different athletic directors during his time at Penn State. So he's accustomed to these transitions.
You mentioned you talked to Tony Elliott. We had a lot of people ask, how's he feeling about his squad? How's he doing? I mean, they stay very down the key. They don't talk a whole lot about, you don't hear a lot about UVA, but how's he feel about this roster makeover right now?
Well, my discussion with him and Amelia Island, Rick, didn't center on his roster. I mean, we talked to him during spring about how he feels about his squad, and he's very optimistic, especially about an offensive line that returns about 121 career starts and more than 11,000 career snaps.
That's impressive.
You can't ask for more. And championships are won in the trenches, as Miami and Indiana proved last season in making the final of the CFP. But my conversation with Tony down at spring meetings was 2-pronged. Number one, about the 2014 playoff and the American Football Coaches Association's endorsement of that and a revamped calendar. Tony sits on the AFCA board of trustees. He's a respected national voice. And I also talked to him about Rio and the game against NC State and how that came about. But Coach Elliott's on board with an expanded playoff, especially because if they do revamp the calendar and conference championship games do go away, which they will if the field goes to 24. And Tony Elliott has a soft spot for conference championship games. I mean, the dude not played, but competed in 8 of them, 7 at Clemson and
right.
1 last season at Virginia. But you use that weekend to start the playoff. Then you can end the college football season by the second Monday in January instead of this foolishness of bumping it up darn near to February. That way you can start the portal at a reasonable time. And here's a concept, and I give Tony Elliott credit. He's one of the few coaches who talks about this. You can mesh it and marry it more with the academic calendar.
Wow.
Yeah.
No.
College football, academics. Who knew?
Well, and I wanted to get your take on the 24-team playoff, the potential of it. I said here on the show this week, people are acting like it's going to be the complete end of college football, and I'm like, I'm not bothered by it as much as other people are. I mean, it didn't. Okay, whatever. What do you think is going to happen, and how do you feel about it just as a fan and somebody who's covered the game as long as you have?
I don't know what's going to happen, Rick, just simply because predicting the tug of war between the Big Ten and the SEC, who we talked about James Franklin having veto power over the athletic director choice. Tony Petitti and Greg Sankey have veto power over any format change in the college football playoff. They have all the money. They have all the championships. They've combined to win the last 7 natties. They have negotiated themselves essentially into kingmakers. So who wins that tug of war? Sankey wants 16, ESPN, which is his but primary media partner. ESPN doesn't want to expand beyond 12, certainly not to 6 or not beyond 16, because they don't want to share the CFP with anyone. Big Ten, they're aligned with Fox. Fox wants a piece of the CFP. Fox says, let's go to 24. Therefore, the Big Ten wants 24. So this is as much Fox versus ESPN as it is Big Ten versus SEC. Who wins that? I have no clue. It'll be amusing and a lot of popcorn just to watch. I think 16 is more reasonable and more prudent and would include any team with a legitimate chance to win the national championship. Could Notre Dame have won it all last year? Absolutely. Could Miami the year previous? Probably. Could teams 17 through 24 right now win it? I don't think so, because they'd have to win 5 consecutive games, essentially against top 20 caliber competition. I asked Jim Phillips, though, if the ACC, because they want the 24, do you believe that those teams in the 17 to 24 range could win it? He said, that's not really the point. And that if we are going to ask all these universities and the presidents and the ADs and the donors to invest in college football, we need to give them hope of making the playoff rather than having it be the sole audience for the Ohio States, the Clemsons, the Alabamas. Clemson's not a good example because they've dipped off, but Ohio State, Alabama, and such. So that's what's going to be interesting from here on out and they have until December to figure it out for 2027. They're going to meet next in June, and that's when they're going to hear from their media consultants to see if a 24-team field would produce enough television revenue to offset the loss in revenue from the conference championship games.
So somebody just asked, and I think you've already answered the question. The ACC and the Big 12 already have said they support the expanded playoff. Petitti was adamant about it yesterday, getting into it. that they are supportive. So you think the SEC still that it's just between those two that it doesn't really matter about? I don't want to say it that way, but the ACC and the Big 12 can chime in all they want, but this is going to come down to that tug of war. Like
that is correct.
Yeah,
they can chime in. They should chime in.
They should,
because that exerts at least a little bit of pressure. But right now, it's very unusual. The SEC is cornered because they are the sole holdout here. And it's a very different position for Greg Sankey and his group. And his group is divided. You've had Greg Byrne, the athletic director at Alabama, publicly say that the time for championship games, conference championship games, to go away is now. That's the most influential athletic director in the league saying that, going against his commissioner. That doesn't happen in the SEC. That is a buttoned up group, and it's not right now. The coaches won 24. The ADs seem rather split. So interesting times when the SEC gathers for its spring meetings next week in Destin, Florida.
Yeah. They don't have that usual, just universal alignment that we all assume. That's a good point. Very good point. Hey, finally, let me ask you about, you mentioned you talked to Mike Young. We had a lot of questions here on the show about how's he doing, first of all, the extension, and he just added some more pieces. I know it's it's always a rock fight now with basketball rosters. I know that. How was Mike Young?
He was upbeat. When I talked to him, they yet obviously to confirm Ethan Copeland, which happened yesterday, him coming over from Stetson when he made 42% of his threes last season. Mike Young loves him some shooters, and Copeland qualifies. It'll be interesting to see how Mike deploys him. Mike's optimism is twofold. Number one, on the players he was able to retain, specifically Imani Hansberry and Ben Hammond and Tyler Johnson, and also Sincere Jones, whose freshman year was cut short by injury. Mike likes his potential. Is he frustrated that they had to part ways with Christian Gerdak and Neo Abdallas? Yes, but they couldn't pay him. They're just not going to be able to match North Carolina's payroll, or, believe it or not, Rutgers. Rutgers has money, especially in basketball. We've seen it before. Now, has it produced results for Rutgers? No, but they've had big-time top 50 prospects come in there and then go in the first round of the NBA draft. So no surprise that, Virginia Tech can't match the bag that those schools can drop for prospects. But he likes the players that they've brought in, a wide range of players. I don't know if you want to go through them all, but I've got a list of them if you're interested.
Sure, yeah, let's go through them here. Yeah, people would love that.
He really likes Kowal, the young man from Oklahoma. He's 6'9", he's thin, but to quote Mike Young, he can shoot the hell out of it. And so I always appreciate Coach Young's colorful language. And trust me, in some instances, when it comes to talking about player agents, he uses even more colorful language. He's very high on Isaiah Elohim, who was a top 50 recruit coming out of high school, originally signed with Southern California. It did not work there. He got his teeth kicked in. He was not quite ready, but blossomed last year at Florida Atlantic as a scorer and a shooter. Jalen Curry coming in from Oklahoma State, who I didn't realize, had visited Virginia Tech coming out of high school. Virginia Tech didn't offer him. They thought he was more of an A-10 player. He went off to UMass and then off to Oklahoma State.
You mentioned Ryan Odom. You talked to him as well real quick here. We got a lot of UVA basketball fans. How's his temperature right now with everything that's happening with his own team and everything, the process?
Ryan Odom pulled off the impossible. He retained all 7
That's what I thought.
Of the scholarship players who were eligible to return. Nobody does that anymore.
I know.
Never happens. Somebody hits the portal. Nobody at Virginia hit the portal.
That's crazy.
That speaks to UVA's resources. That also speaks to the culture that Ryan Odom has created there in short order. And the fact that those guys want to run it back after getting stung by Tennessee in the second round of the tournament. They want to go further, and they think they can. And with the additions that they've made in the portal, they brought in 3 transfers. They've got a freshman coming in. They're not done. They're going to bring in a couple, at least 1, maybe 2 Europeans. And they're going to need to, because the schedule Ryan Odom has put together in the non-conference is some kind of fierce. They are going to play UConn at the Garden in December. In February, they're going to play in the duel in the district, which is that game that was Duke-Michigan last year. It's going to be Virginia. Ryan mentioned the possibility of Arkansas as a possible opponent. So we'll see how that plays out. They're going to be down in the Bahamas at the Battle for Atlantis against a high-caliber field.
Wow.
They're going to get a home game in the ACC-SEC Challenge. Virginia is going to be challenged in its non-conference schedule.
Oh, I love that, though. That's how you get better, man. That's how you go further in the tournament. I think that's the way to go. That's great to hear. And it's great to hear that from Charlottesville, at least the 2 main programs seem to be in good hands. Coaches who got to have a nice grasp, because other things that are going on there, lacrosse, I mean, the coaches that are leaving and so forth, I know that's been kind of strange to watch happen too, without any kind of explanation as to what's going on with all that. So,
yeah, Olympic sport drama, to say the least, in Charlottesville, and especially with the lacrosse world descending upon Charlottesville this weekend,
right,
for the NCAA championship weekend in both Division I and Division III.
Well, we'll see what happens there, what might be uncovered. When are you and the family? When are you and Mrs. and Tiny Till headed out here soon for summer?
We'll be heading out the second week of June to North and South Dakota and Wyoming and Montana. Awesome. We're going to do some hiking at Teddy Roosevelt National Park, Badlands National Park. We're going to see the Mount Rushmore, Devil's Tower. We're going to go out and spend a little time in nature.
That'll be great. Awesome. Well, man, great stuff today as always, man. Good to see you again. Appreciate you, brother. And have a great weekend, a long weekend for Memorial Day weekend. So,
you take care, Rick.
All right, man. Be good. There you go. David Teal. Great stuff. David Teal out in nature. That's great. Yeah, that's what it is. That's 100% what it is, Chris. It's down to the networks, man. We've talked about it here. But it's interesting, if there's fracturing already amongst the ADs and the SEC, the Big Ten has a much stronger, and I mean a much stronger unity. Because Tony Petit did not pull any punches yesterday. They are all in on the 2014 playoff. The ACC and the Big 12 are all in. Is ESPN and the SEC going to be able to break that? Well, David said it doesn't really matter about the ACC and the Big 12, and that's kind of the problem with it, isn't it? Those fan bases are basically told it doesn't matter what your school thinks or what your conference thinks, your commissioner. It's all about what those other 2 leagues, which we've talked about, this alliance that they have. But it sounds like the Big Ten's got a lot going on. They just won the 3 major championships. They've got complete unity. Commissioner, AD, presidents. SEC doesn't, so Greg Sankey can push back all he wants with ESPN. I don't believe it's going to stop the 2014 playoff. ESPN just doesn't want to give up the inventory. It's plain and simple. Selfish interest, because that's their one of their big cash cows. And I get it. It's the second most watched sport in this country, college football games. Makes perfect sense. Who's going to win? I got to be honest. We talked about this earlier with the way that folks look at the teams in their league. It'd be nice to see the SEC take a big L, wouldn't it? I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. If you're an SEC fan, you know what? Petit even said we're not even talking about a 16-team playoff, because I read the whole transcript. we're going to go from 12 to 24 or we're not moving. The ACC and the Big 12 said the same thing in different wording, but they don't. So it's got to go from 12 to 24. That was good. Coach Elmo is scheduled to join us here momentarily. I believe he's good to go. We hope. Let me make sure he got the invite. But that's a great conversation with David Teal. That's some good info there with James Franklin. Sounds like it's going to be an internal candidate, doesn't it, for athletic director? And on one side, it looks like it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I know, Franklin said they want it to be wide-ranging, but it sounds like it's not necessarily wide-ranging. And now I'm not saying that'll be a bad thing, but the alignment to the new football coach is going to be more important than maybe the alignment with the rest of the department. Let's just look at the facts here. There's Coach Elmo for the second time this week. Good to have you, man. Huh?
How's the microphone? Is it good?
It's okay. Maybe let's see here. I can hear me though. I can hear me coming back.
Yeah. How about now? Is it decent?
Yeah, it's a little decent. It's breaking up a little. It may just be a little too loud. Yeah. That's okay. That's
okay. Let me mess with this a little bit.
The problem is I'm hearing myself. Yeah, I don't know if something's on there, like your speaker or something.
Is it good now? Better?
Yeah. You're fine. Yeah, that's better. I can still hear me, but it's okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. I don't know why I can hear me, but I can. It's kind of it's just weird.
Well,
this worked fine on Monday.
I know. Well, we may have to.
But we can hear you. So, yeah. So what do you think, Coach, going to happen with this 2014 playoff? David Teal just talked about it. The Big Ten is now on board full throttle. Tony Petitti didn't pull any punches yesterday. We're not going from 12 to 16. We want to go from 12 to 24. That's what Big Ten guy told me a couple weeks ago. It's not and they might be the power brokers now. SEC's trying to hang on because of ESPN complaining they don't want to lose inventory. So who's going to win this battle, this tug of war, as David referred to it?
Why is ESPN complaining?
They don't want to give up. They don't want to give up their complete and utter monarchy on the postseason. They don't want to share it with Fox, basically.
So it's a Fox ESPN battle.
Yep.
Well, I can see why the ACC wants to go to 24 because look at Duke. Not necessarily Duke won the championship, and if they still have conference championship, let's say they still have conference championships. Well, Duke's in, and UVA will probably be in, and Miami. And what about Wake Forest? They had a 9-10 win season. So I can see why the ACC, because, ESPN and the decisions that the ACC made, you tell me, Rick, you know more about it than I do. I'm sure. It's between the ESPN and the ACC, it's like the redheaded stepchild compared to the SEC. Is that an accurate statement? Kind of how they deal. Think about all the stipulations that the ACC and the hoops they had to jump through. Miami can keep to keep the Miamis and the Florida States and the Clemsons all, happy about the money because, again, Rick, I'll say this again, the money still comes down to the football is absolute. I mean, that's a given. But in order to have 20 sports and not have to drop sports, that extra 30 million or whatever billion now that the Big Ten has, You're not going to hear many Big Ten schools about dropping their sports.
No, I'm with you 100%.
So this is a big picture thing too. I mean, it's not just tunnel vision with football money, because football money that's a given. It's now okay. The other 19 or 22 sports that are in the programs, and I don't think you'll hear press conferences announcing Big Ten sports are getting dropped.
You're probably right. Yeah.
I don't think that's my, haven't read anything, haven't heard anything. That's opposed to whatever the schools that dropped tennis and the school, I don't know. I hear about schools dropping these sports. I don't know which specific school or which specific conference, but it's obviously being done, but it's not coming out of the Big Ten.
That's true.
So, and like I said, Rick, people can talk about the 16. They're going to go to 24. Once you go to 16 in 2 years, it'll be 24. So just do it.
Just do it. That's what they're saying, basically. We're just going to go. That's what we want.
Just do it. And you know what? And if the Big Ten decides they want it done, and the ACC and the Big 12 and all these other conferences, then ESPN can, forget about it. I don't know.
No, I think you're right, and it sounds like to me Tony Petitti being the commissioner coming in is a nightmare for Greg Sankey in the SEC, because now he has a peer that may be even better at this whole thing than he's been over the years, just total control of it.
This is what's exposing why this game without any rules. The game without any rules. That's the college football. I'm not going to call it the NCAA. NCAAs, they're dead in the water as far as football is concerned. They're an afterthought. There's no NCAA logo. You will not see the NCAA logo on any football game.
Nope.
Regular season, let alone the playoffs.
Right.
Or the bowls. Hell, they got the patches. They put the patches on the basketball team and had all sorts of NCAA self-serving promotions about academics during the Power Four. When did they have that during the national championship run? None. Crickets. So, but I think what you're seeing now, the good news for me of the 16 to 24 debate or what's being proposed is exposing what's wrong with college football. You got college commissioners and presidents chasing TV money and don't give a crap about anybody else except their own conference.
That's right.
And you know what? Why should they? If I'm Greg Sankey, my concern is the SEC. I don't care about the Big Ten and the good of college football. I don't care. And that's been going on forever. You think during the 80s and 90s, and look at the great college coaches from years ago, and this is what we had always had heard, but back in the 60s, before a lot of your listeners were born, there were two people running the NCAA. Walter Byers was the president, and Bear Bryant. Those two gentlemen ran the NCAA. And all the NCAA was established was for transfer rules and, basic rules that, money and transferring rules. That's where they were established when it was all said and done in a overall view.
Yeah.
And now you look at the NCAA rules book, you can take and throw it in the garbage can because there isn't any more. There's no more rules. Hey, you know what kills me about the NCAA? They come out beating on their chest. Yeah, we're going to limit, in terms of the eligibility, right? You got 5 years. And they're so proud of that that's going to pass, okay? Well, if you can do that, well, you can change whatever you want because you're going to get sued anyway. So obviously their lawyers have said, hey, look, we can do this. We have a chance to win this 1 out of 300 in the courts. They must have. They have to have. They got to consult with their attorneys before they come up with any
100%
rule changes.
Yes.
Okay? They're not just throwing, oh, we're making these changes. Their attorneys have to be consulted. Can we win the lawsuits that are going to happen with anything they do now? And they have not won any. They're over.
None. They're over.
None. So they're coming up beating on their chest. Oh yeah. Oh no. We're gonna. You got 5 years to play. That's it. No more. Okay. But hey, the way that the how do I want to compare this to? Who's the LSU basketball coach? Offered a 26-year-old pro millions of dollars to come play.
Will Wade.
Whatever his name is, it's hey, you know what? I'm getting mad at him because the NCAA, there's nothing they can do about it.
Well, that's right.
Don't get mad at him. It's just like the players. Don't get mad at the players for taking money. It's there. Everyone's dissing on Will Wade. Oh my God, look what he's doing. Oh my God, are you serious? Get off your high horse. Christ. He's doing exactly what the NCAA, they can't fight it. They cannot fight it. You know what? I say, God bless him. Do it. Go to Europe and go get a 3-year pro and pay him, and you got the money, and go pay him and stick your tongue out in everybody as I go to the Final Four.
I know. And then you have, what's his name? Charlie Baker get up there, and whenever he speaks, like he has any kind of authority whatsoever, right? And,
don't forget, where's Charlie Baker from?
Yeah.
Massachusetts. It's a hockey state.
That's right.
You got a guy from Massachusetts running the NCAA? Trust me, being a Massachusetts boy myself, that ain't good, Rick. Not good.
Charlie Baker's like Captain Stillman in Stripes, He's like that kind of guy running the base, just no integrity or no credibility whatsoever. But
the 24, why not? Because it's going to go to 24 anyway. It goes to 16, great. Well, why not go to 24 and let UVA in? UVA's in, or 2 years ago, South Carolina's in.
Right.
And you know what? Hey, if you are in the Power 4, this is not about letting the Power 5 teams in and expanding. The days of, I think, everybody deserves a trophy, those days are going to be diminished. Because if you want to get a trophy, you better have the cash.
No, that's
to
right.
Get a trophy. You better be Texas Tech. You better have oil money or technological money. Okay? And you still have to have the doctors, the lawyers, the bankers, and the car dealers. You still have to have those. But those guys are some 6 figures. The rest of them are 7 and 8 figures. The oil money people. And you can turn Texas Tech around, even in women's softball, for God's sakes.
Right. The SMUAD is the only one that I've heard come out and say, we're not worried about any of the financial changes. We're good. we're covered. Whatever happens, we're ready. Yeah, it's all oil money. Every bit. It's crazy.
They already had the death penalty. What else is going to happen to them? Are you kidding me? Hey, we've been down that road.
They're going to end up being the one thing the ACC added that's going to end up being a prominent force in that conference, the SMU, because of the money. The money is going to make them prominent in all the sports that matter. Absolutely.
Very quietly too. It's just like UV. And what is Duke doing? And what did Wake do? If I'm an administrator or a football coach, or I'm going to visit Wake Forest. How did you do this? How did you squeeze out 9 wins? You think about the ACC, Rick. Clemson's preseason rated as number 1. They want Florida State and they want Miami, but Clemson was. And now who ended up having the better records in the ACC? Duke, Virginia, and Wake Forest and Duke. Those 3 teams had outstanding football seasons. outstanding. Why?
Yeah.
How?
I know.
Is that an indictment on the conference? Are they not playing everybody? And that's another thing what they got to do, Rick. You want to get 24 teams in, they got to take these conferences. Here's what they got to do. And they won't do this. You got to go back to regional conference scenarios, the old Pac-10, the Big 12, the SEC, the ACC. Hell, bring the Big East back, and then the Big 10, and have an 8-8, within each conference. You got 2 divisions within each conference, north, south, east, west, however you want to do it. Have 8-8 teams, and then next thing you know, Big 10 versus Big East, or SEC versus ACC, Big 12 versus Pac-10, okay? And everybody plays everybody. You may have only 2 non-conference games. Back when I got in the Big 10 in the mid-'80s, when they had the 11-game schedule, we played 9 Big 10 teams. You had 2 non-conference games. 2. That was it. And I don't mind having the non-conference games. I think anytime you can help them. Bear Bryant, when Frank Mosley was the AD at Virginia Tech, because he was an Alabama guy, Bear Bryant used to do Frank Mosley a favor and play a home and home so they could make some money. And that's fact. He would help his Alabama people and schedule, okay, and help them with the finances. And that's fact, and not that it was a guaranteed win for him, but he would do that. And so I do believe it's good that a Power 4 team plays a Power 5 team, but no 1AAs anymore. You couldn't do it. That's what I would do. I'd go back. That's not going to happen. But I'd go back to, hey, Southern Cal, UCLA, Washington State. This is the old Pac-10, and have no more than 16 schools in the conference. No more. And maybe not even that, and maybe lessen it down to 14 or whatever. But you get either an 8-8 division within the conference, the most max, like the NFL in their divisions. Try to set it, and then everybody plays everybody. So there's no, I don't play Miami this year. I don't play Florida State this year. I don't play Clemson this year in the ACC. The ACC is their schedule is so. And Bear Bryant years ago, they only used to have to play 6 SEC teams. He had 5 non-conference games because he wanted a lot of SEC teams in bowls. That was the Bear Bryant rule. We're playing 6, and we're not beating ourselves up. That's historical fact of the SEC and why they were so strong in bowl attendance back in the 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Till it all changed.
Well, and yesterday, Coach. No, it was good. I want to ask you what Jamie Pollard said here before we go. The Iowa State AD's kind of become a cult hero overnight if you're not connected to the Big Ten and the SEC, because he said, go ahead and break away. We're tired of hearing about it. You guys want to go do your thing? Good luck with that. There's going to be about 20, 24 of you. Good luck filling out your schedules for the rest of your sports when you can't rely on us anymore. He goes, quit threatening, just go.
Yeah. You know what? And that's what it is right now. It's all a bunch of hot air, and there's not, because again, Rick, it's come back down to this. It's just in order for it to change, it's not going to. People say, "Oh, well, we just do the NFL model." No, the NFL is an entity by itself. College football is multiple onion layers. Starting from conferences to the individual schools to the states. You got state judges, man. They're going to do what's best for their state and the school they went to. And they'll get an injunction on anything you think you're going to decide to do. So, it is. And anything that's coming out of Greg Sankey's mouth of all the commissioners is just, so what? It's hot air.
he comes across
as
more
they call it, saber rattling.
Yeah, he's coming across as a guy who's starting to accept the fact he's losing his power. I believe this is kind of the way it feels. He's not going to let go of it easily.
From a national perspective, and maybe within the television scenarios, I'll agree with you. But as far as the SEC, he's going to do what's best for the SEC and their coaches and their presidents. Period. It's just like Roger Goodell's going to do. He's not there for the players. He's there for
the owners. Yeah.
The owners. He represents the owners. So, Greg Sankey, it just so happens because of ESPN, Fox, they're again, Rick, they're chasing TV money. It's a race for the TV money. And you're right. All of a sudden, Fox got into this battle. And you look at ESPN, look what you talk about monopoly. They got it all right now. They got it all. I mean, basketball, ESPN, the playoffs, hockey, the playoffs.
They bought it all. Yeah, they bought it all.
They got it all. And so that's the key to that drill. But no, it's it's funny. You have to change the subject because we talk about this. This is the circular firing squad now. I mean,
it is. It's a circular fire. That's a good way to put it.
It's Groundhog Day, Rick.
It's a circular fire squad.
I know you need content for the show, but I'm telling you, all this stuff that's happening with college football, like I said, there's about 20% of them, they like it how it is.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So it, but it was funny. Your last show really steered my thoughts about recruiting and listening to Coach Grantham. Like I said, all of a sudden he offered somebody, and next thing you know, the kid blew up because of him. And that's fact. That happens.
On social media, somebody saw the post. Oh, we got to get involved with this kid. Yeah.
I can promise you. Listen, a quick story. I'm at the University of Washington. Okay, this is 1995, and this is very applicable to today. Okay, because we did not have all those recruiting services that you got today. But staff people knew who you offered. That did trickle down to high school coaches and things of that nature. When you threw an offer out, even in 1995, every school's going to know that you offered this kid. So we had a kid, long story short, we had a kid come up, visit us in the summer from Maryland, Gaithersburg, Maryland. He visited because his uncle was a preacher in Seattle. He had some extended family in Seattle. And all of a sudden the secretary says, hey, there's a kid on campus wants to tour the facilities. I'm there in the summer doing my summer obligations. I said, yeah, sure. So I'm showing the kid around, this and that. And next thing you know, I get a DVD back in those days sent to me in the mail, on no computers at the time. And I get the DVD and it's sitting on my desk in September. And about the end of September, I opened it up on a Thursday because, we were doing recruiting. And I threw it in and I went, Jesus, this kid's pretty good. So I called Jim Tate, former Virginia Tech assistant coach with Bill Dooley and a long time coach at Richmond. He ended up being an assistant. This is 1995 because he recruited Maryland, Northern Virginia, and I know he would know about this kid. I called Jim Tate up. I said, Jim, this kid, Dhani Jones, okay, that name's probably going to be familiar to you.
Yep,
okay?
Absolutely.
I said, what's the deal, Rick? I mean, what's the deal, Jim? He goes, Phil, we got him at Richmond. We're the only ones that have offered him right now. I go, you're kidding. Because Jim Lambright, our head coach, who played linebacker at Washington and coached linebackers for a total of 30 years, the Bud Foster of Washington, except he played there.
Yep.
When I showed him the film, I said, Jim, what do you think? And all of a sudden, it was game tape. And it was a 20-footer, 20 feet, and that's it. Go get him. He said, offer. Right there. Walked out. So that's when I called Coach Tate. I wanted to verify. Jim said, Phil, he's a hell of a football player. Jim really liked him. I said, that's it. So I called the coach who I knew and said, we're going to offer him. And then next thing you know, well, we're offering them, and we got the official visit. The dad was some kind of government. I don't know if he was CIA, but he worked at Washington. But he's a Michigan grad. The dad was a Michigan grad. Well, Bobby Morrison, who I played for at William and Mary, he's on the staff with Bo Schembechler. And next thing you know, Michigan offers the kid. Like that. They got no clue this kid's even alive. He had been born, let alone playing football. They got no idea, no clue. But you can hear it. I said, you know what's going on in the Michigan staff meeting? All of a sudden, Bo's sitting there, and they go, hey, what about this kid from Maryland that Washington went all the way across the country to offer? This is the University of Washington, okay? And so they ended up, he ended up starting for them as a true freshman on that national championship team in the 97 national championship team. He's ended up starting, or a redshirt freshman, whatever. But that's how recruiting goes. And nothing's changed today. Today, sometimes who the recruiter is as important as who the school is. And a guy like Todd Grantham, who's got a reputation, hey, Todd's offered him. Mike Smith, to this day, and you can call him, Rick, he'll tell you this. I'll guarantee he'll tell you this. The University of Tennessee used to go into Hampton High School, and the first question they would ask is, who was Richmond recruiting? The first question they would ask. They want to know who we were recruiting at Richmond because of Lawrence Taylor and Dwight Stevens and guys, and who all of a sudden they're coming to Richmond. They ended up going to Alabama and Carolina, but basically we were the first to offers, those kids, and that's fact. So that happens in recruiting. You can turn a 3-star into a 5-star like that on who you are and who you're working for.
Yeah, which is why I don't pay any attention to the star rating. But you're right. You're right. The information is just getting there in different avenues now with the internet as opposed to just word of mouth. Yeah.
It's insane now. Yeah. I used to, when I was coaching in junior college, Coach Norton was great. He would sell kids to a point, but especially if they were, we're going to be good players, and the program's going to benefit from them being in the program. He wasn't just going to sell anybody. Hell, remember what I said? Your future and my reputation. I cherish him. Don't mess with him. And he was the same way when it came down to his junior college players. And all of a sudden, Big Daddy, he'd say, well, you know what? Georgia Tech's looking at him. Next thing you know, they go back and look at the film, and it's a whole different evaluation. All they need to hear. Yep. Not even to say that they've offered him. They said, no, Georgia Tech's really interested in him. And the evaluation changes. Oh, geez, okay. Oh, I can see this now. It's the same thing they looked at before when they didn't want to recruit him. You could do, that happened. That's how it happened. And you know what, Rick? I'll let it go with this. The hell with the star rating. Give me the dollar signs.
That's it.
I need the dollar signs.
Dollar signs. That's what it's about.
These 247 people, give me this 5-star, 4-star crap. Put the dollar sign in front of it.
That's right. I like it. Well, Coach, have a good Memorial Day weekend. I'm guessing you're going to have a fishing pole in the water somewhere, right?
It was going to come up South West Virginia the following weekend because Ferrum College they have the Coach Norton golf tournament they have every year. It's a fundraiser. And the 82 team that when I was coaching it played for the national championship in the old Victory Stadium. We played they had a game for the national championship against Northwest Mississippi. They're going to be there. I don't know if I'm going to go, Rick, because I'm looking at the weather. They're calling for rain Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and next weekend.
Lots of rain. Yeah. Hopefully we get it. We need some. Hopefully we get it. So.
Well, all right, buddy. Hey, appreciate you.
Thanks for coming on. No, appreciate you.
Good job. Awesome.
You're hired, baby. You're not fired, Coach. You're not fired by a long shot. Thanks, brother. We appreciate you, man.
You're welcome, Rick. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. We'll see you. Have a good weekend. We'll talk. Yeah. Coach Elmo here on the program. Great stuff from him, man. Great breakdown, as always. Great stuff today. What a great show, man. Keon Brown, Damian Sordelette, David Teal, and Phil Elmassian. What? That's knowledge right there, man. I know you do appreciate it, but I really do. I learned so much. I mean, that's good stuff right there, man. Taking us inside everything that's going on. Beautiful. Thanks to our great sponsors. Thanks to you in chat. Thanks to everybody on the text line. It's just Professional Door text line. McClellan chat blows up every show. Busy show tomorrow, Thursday. Matt Rohn now joining us, the AD at JMU. Got a lot going on tomorrow. So we hope to see you there. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share the channel. Have a great hump day. Slide over well. We'll see.